Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everyone. Myself Dr. Maimuna Azhar, the physiotherapist, and today I'm going to deliver a lecture on the subject of medical physics. And the topic which I'm going to discuss today is it is really crucial and important in the field of medical physics and although also in the field of physics. And the topic name is electromagnetic induction. So today we are going to study the principles of electromagnetic induction, who discovered electromagnetic induction, and the types of the electromagnetic induction, in which we will study about the self and mutual induction, and also laws of electromagnetic induction. There are two laws which are being followed in the electromagnetic induction. One is the Lenz's law and the other one is the Faraday's law. So all these topics we are going to cover today. It is not the difficult topic, it is really easy topic. It is just like halwa. You guys need to just understand that what is being happened in there, and I will quickly let you know that what is electromagnetic induction. You guys know about the induction. Induction means to induce something. We have studied about the electrostatic induction, that the current was being produced in the other side of the thing, and the induction was being done in the conductor. It was without contact. And now here we have reached at the point that we are going to discuss electromagnetic induction. In electromagnetic induction, magnetic effect produce the induced EMF in the current, in the coils or in the conductors, and such kind of induction would be known as electromagnetic induction. So coming towards the basic topic, and we will start from here, and I will let you know the each and everything in detail so that you guys can easily understand that what is going to happen in here. Electromagnetic induction was first demonstrated by Michael Faraday in 1831. At the time, it means that which electricity is produced from the magnetism. The basic meaning from electromagnetic induction is electricity is being produced from the magnetism. In the older times, we could only produce electricity through chemical reactions and friction, and there were the processes which were really expensive and extensive, and it was not possible for us to perform this procedure for the small scales. So the electromagnetic induction made us easier for producing electricity at a very low scale, so we can do that very easily. Electromagnetic induction is a production of an EMF in the conductor by interaction between two conductors and magnetic lines of forces. As you know that induction is without contact. So how that EMF is being induced or how the current is being produced from the magnetism, there are some things which we need to know. That for the electromagnetic induction we need three things. One is conductor, number two is magnetic lines of force, and number three is movement of these relative to another. I'm just teaching you guys from the Clayton, and the page number is 62. The book you people are going to write, or you people are writing, it is also being mentioned there, but some of the parts are still missing there. So I am just repeating that you guys should study this topic from the book, and the student who had this assignment to write this topic from the book, he or she did not do it completely. So he or she have to contact me personally, and I will recorrect the topic which is being mentioned in your book which you guys are writing. So three things are being provided for electromagnetic induction, and we are producing electricity through magnetism. Now we are moving towards some of the experiments which will help us that how we can produce or how we can do the electromagnetic induction really easily. Now we are moving towards the experiment number 1, and we are going to produce the induced EMF, and this experiment will let you know that what is actually happening there. So there is a coil of the wire, and it is being attached with milliammeter. You have studied that what is milliammeter yesterday. Now what is being happened there? It is also being attached with, you can say, milliammeter. You know that the needle is being present there. So except for writing milliammeter, I am just going to draw a needle out here. Now this is the coil of the wire, and there is the magnetic bar. This is the magnet. When this magnet is being taken closer, for example, this is the magnet, This is the north pole and this is the south pole. When the magnet comes closer to this coil of the wire, the needle will deflect. Now you have to consider this duster, the magnet. When it is coming closer, the needle will deflect. But when it stayed here for a second, the needle came back to no deflection. And when it is going back, the needle will deflect back. So I'm just going to redo this experiment for you guys at what actually happened. The needle was at its resting position. The needle was at its resting position when magnet was not near it. When magnet came closer, the needle deflected. When the magnet stayed here for a second, the needle came back to 0. And when magnet came back, it changed its position. So now you guys can see that this is a really typical experiment that the needle deflected when the bar magnet was moving. But when it came to the constant position, it stopped moving. Now we are moving towards the another experiment. If we do this experiment with electromagnet rather than bar magnet, same process will occur. So I'm not going to go into detail of experiment number 2 because it is just like the experiment number 1, but the difference only is that here electromagnet is being used. Now moving towards the experiment number 3. What would be that experiment? I'm going to draw a coil and an other coil. I attached milliammeter on the secondary coil, and what is going to happen in the primary coil? I attached it with the current or the battery. Now when the current is being passed through primary coil, when current is passing through primary coil, we are going to use interrupted direct current. At this place, we are not going to use simple direct current, interrupted direct current. When current is passing through primary coil, automatically the magnetic lines of force will produce from this, and these magnetic lines of force will strike to the secondary coil, and when they will strike to the secondary coil, the EMF would be induced in the secondary coil. And when the EMF is induced in the secondary coil, the needle will deflect. Now at this point we need to understand that when the current is constant, it is not changing. For example, we are using direct current. At constant current, induced EMF will not be produced because EMF will only be produced when the current is changing. But when current became constant, it will not be produced in the secondary coil. So another thing to remember is if the intensity of this current is increasing and if the intensity of this current is decreasing, what will actually happen? If the intensity of the current in primary coil is increasing, the EMF induced in the secondary coil will oppose that. Now I will let you know that what is the meaning of this thing. I'm just going to start this thing right after the experiment number 3. And when the intensity of the current is decreasing, it is being produced, induced EMF is being produced in the same direction. It is just like, let me just draw a bit for you. For example, the intensity of the current is increasing. When the intensity of the current is increasing, the induced EMF produced would be in same direction. But when the intensity of the current is decreasing, the induced EMF would be produced in opposite direction. Now you guys will be clearly known that how it happens and why does it happen. Direction of induced EMF. In the first and second experiment, the milliammeter needle swings in one direction when magnet enters the coil and the other direction when it is withdrawn. We are clear with that. When the magnet comes towards the, for example, I'm just letting you know the first experiment, just forget this part. When the bar magnet comes closer, the needle deflects in the same direction, and when the bar magnet goes backward, the needle deflects in the opposite direction. This is a thing you guys need to remember. And in the third experiment, the needle swings in one direction when primary current is increasing in intensity, and other direction when it is decreasing in intensity. So when current is increasing in intensity, it will swing in one direction, and when current is decreasing in intensity, it will swing in another direction. So it is clear from this. Then we are moving towards Lenz's law. Lenz's law, what does Lenz's law say and how does it happen and how does it work? Lenz's law states that the direction of induced EMF is such that it opposes the force producing it. It is just like, it is saying that the induced EMF will oppose the direction which is producing it. For example, a current is producing an EMF, and it will oppose, the induced EMF will oppose that force which is opposing that direction. Now we are going to start with both experiments. Experiment number 1. How it opposes in experiment number 1 and how does it oppose in experiment number 2. When this magnet was brought closer towards the coil, when the magnet is coming towards the coil with the north pole, automatically the north pole will generate at side of the coil. As we people know that the magnetic lines of force are being produced when they are coming closer, and for example, this is the north pole and this is the south pole. North pole is coming towards the coil. Automatically at this side, the pole will generate, it will be north. And when the north and north are coming in contact, they are like, so they will repel each other. But in the same way, if the magnet is going back, what will happen? This was the north pole and this was the south pole. When it was coming closer, there was the north pole being developed. But when it will move away, it is going away, the north pole here on the magnet will remain same, but opposite pole will be generated on the coil. So as you can see that it opposes the direction it produces. When the bar magnet with north pole was coming closer, it was giving the north on the same side, and when the bar magnet with north side going away, it will give the opposite direction, it will try to attract that. So it will always oppose the direction it is producing. Now we are moving toward experiment number 2, that how does it oppose in there. Using the primary and secondary coil which is varying, with the varying current flowing in the primary, when the current in the primary coil is rising in intensity induced opposite direction, and so tending to produce a current in the opposite direction to the primary coil. When the primary current is falling in intensity, the induced EMF in the secondary coil is in the same direction as applied to primary, so that tending to produce a current in the same direction as it was flowing in primary. Now experiment number 3, current in the primary coil and ammeter or needle on the other coil. When the intensity is increasing, the current would follow the same direction. But when the intensity, just forget the last thing which I just mentioned, when the intensity is increasing, current would induce EMF. This is the current we are giving, and this is the current which is being induced. Now, if the intensity of the current we are giving is increasing, the induced EMF will oppose the direction. And if the intensity of the current is decreasing, it will come into same direction. So, just point to remember is, if intensity of this current which is flowing in this direction is increasing, it will oppose the direction, and if the intensity of the current is decreasing in the primary coil, it will follow the same direction. So you guys will be clear about the Lenz's law, that how does the direction is being opposed, the induced EMF is being opposed by the force which produces it. Now we are moving towards the strength of induced EMF, that what can be the strength of induced EMF. The strength of induced EMF is clear from the Faraday's law. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's law says that the strength of induced EMF is proportional to rate of change of magnetic field. I just mentioned in the start that if the change in magnetic field is occurring, current will produce, and if the change in magnetic field is not occurring, current will not produce. So Faraday's law said that strength of induced EMF is proportional to rate of change of magnetic field, and the strength of induced EMF is proportional to inductance of conductor. For example, the instrument or the conductor you are using, there is also a very important point we need to remember about that conductor, that its inductance should be good. Inductance means its ability to have an induced EMF. For example, if the inductance of a conductor is good, it means it is having a capacity or ability to have increased EMF. And if the inductance of capacitor is not good, it means it is not having good ability for having the high induced EMF. And inductance is being measured in the unit Henry. Now it is the assignment for you guys that you are going to learn what is Henry. You have to define Henry from this book. Just go and open this book, and I'm just telling all of you that I know you people don't watch all of the video. If the person who himself or herself watch the complete video and gets to know about this question, only he will know or she will know that the ma'am or teacher gave this assignment. The people who did not listen, who will not know about this. So if you guys cheated about this and tell your class fellows that I gave this assignment, so I will not spare you guys, because it's not good. You people should be really careful, and you know that this is the time when you should be actually careful about your studies. In the past times, I was not just considering, I was just thinking and was relying completely on you guys that you will be studying your lecture completely. But now I'm just understanding that within having a lot of burden of different subjects, you might skip my subject. So I really don't want you guys to skip this subject. Just be competitive and start learning this subject, because it's just like a halwa subject. You have to just understand the story, what is actually happening, so you will be clearly understanding that what is actually happening in the subject. Now moving towards our last topic, the types of induction: mutual induction, self-induction. The mutual induction process is the experiment number 3. Current is producing in the primary coil and it is generating the induced EMF in the secondary coil. So the EMF is being induced in the secondary coil, so it is a process of mutual induction. What is the process of self-induction? Self-induction means, for example, a current is flowing through a single wire. It will have its magnetic field, and when it will have its own magnetic field, it will have induced EMF in that wire too. Let me just make it easier for you guys to understand what is the process of self-induction. The current was flowing in this coil. For example, the coils were attached. There was a coil and the current was flowing through this coil. For example, the current was flowing in this direction. When the current was flowing in this direction and it was increasing in intensity, when the intensity was increasing, the induced EMF produced would oppose the direction. Did you guys understand? Current was increasing in intensity, the induced EMF would oppose the direction. And when the current was decreasing in intensity, the induced EMF will not oppose the direction and it will follow the same direction. So the graph it shows in this process is when the current is, for example, the current intensity is increasing. The intensity should increase in this way. And when it came to constant, it should go like this. And when intensity is falling off, it should come this way. This is the normal pattern which should be followed. But this electromagnetic induction and self-induction changes that pattern. And how this pattern is being changed? As you guys can see that when the intensity was increasing, the induced EMF did not help it to increase in intensity so much, and the graph will follow like this. And when it was trying to decrease the intensity, the current was not being able to decrease the intensity instantly. It will be decreased gradually because the induced EMF is not opposing, it's helping it. So the graph will produce out here will be like this. So the intensity should get higher rapidly and should get lower rapidly. But rather than that, induced EMF was helping there. It was making it smoother and making it gradual. So the induced EMF just opposed the direction when the intensity was getting high, and when the intensity was getting lower, did not oppose the direction. Now the last thing we need to remember is that as with mutual induction, strength of induced EMF is proportional to inductance and to the rate of the change of magnetic field. So rate of change of magnetic field is really important, and inductance is important in mutual induction. For this reason, when we want to change the magnetic field really quick, so we need to change the current in that manner really quickly. So for that we will use high frequency current which alternate at rate of 1 million times a second. When they change 1 million times a second, so automatically when the current which is producing is not same, the EMF induced would be constant. So when the current becomes same, when the rate of current or speed of the current or the type of current gets same, the EMF would not be induced. But when the rate of the magnetic field is changing, then at that point we will be having that electromagnetic induction. So it was all about today. I hope you guys understood the lecture and you guys are clear about all of the things. Let me just rewind that. What did we study today? We studied the principle of electromagnetic induction, discovery of electromagnetic induction, the three experiments about this, the Lenz's law and the Faraday's law, and the inductance and the Henry, and also last but not the least the types of the induction, self and magnetic induction. Thank you so much guys.